Yo, what's going on? It's your main man, Rick to Dawn. Hey, what's up, y'all? Thank you for joining me on this video. If you clicked on it, I appreciate it. I'm not sure how you found this video. Let me tell you, my videos are always at the very bottom of the pack, but it must be like fate or something. But anyway, this episode is brought to you by the Rick to Dawn podcast. If you click the link in the comment section, you'll find it. I want to talk about this game, man. I think it's got a lot of really good storylines. And I went live in hopes that someone would like latch on and talk about the game with me. No such luck. But anyway, check it out. So Miami, they were eighth in the Eastern Conference Finals, and they actually had to win two play-in games to participate in the 2022-2023 playoffs. So how amazing is that story? Going from eighth place, or basically the eighth seed, to now be in the championship. And we know who they went through, man. They went through some stiff competition. They beat Boston, they beat the Bucks, they beat New York, and they beat them pretty convincingly, with the exception of Boston, depending on how you look at it. But make no mistake, everyone thought that Boston would beat Miami, and the fact that Miami went to Boston and won 3 times is impressive. Now, on the other side of the spectrum is, what's up, Myra? Myra's in the building. Anyway, on the other side of the spectrum is the Nuggets. The Nuggets did something completely different. They basically ran the NBA all season. They dominated the Western Conference in general, and nothing has changed now that we're in the playoffs. They're still dominant. They went through and pretty much chopped up everybody. They beat the Lakers, for crying out loud, which was a task that I did not think was possible, but they were able to do that, and I'm just kind of giving them both their props. I think both teams did something special. Now, in terms of the playoffs and their record, Miami is 12-6 in the playoffs right now. Great record overall. I mean, it got them all the way here. And then for the Nuggets, they are 12-3. Okay, so that's about what we have in terms of a comparison. We have a team that is very dominant, that has been dominant the entire season, and many people are picking the Nuggets to win this game. And on the other side, you have Miami, a very scrappy team that has surprised us all to this point. And the big question is, will Miami surprise us in this game? Is there another trick up their sleeves where they beat a team that we think is better than them? This is not the first time Miami has done this. I thought Boston was better than Miami. I thought the Bucks were better than Miami. But, hey, we stand corrected. Now, this is kind of like deja vu. If I'm not mistaken, I saw this before. In the 2020 playoffs, we saw both Miami and the Nuggets kind of in the same position, more or less. And to be more specific, the 2020 championship, or I should say the playoff run, happened in a bubble. We know that was during COVID, and it was slightly different. Okay, the difference is the Nuggets were beaten by LeBron James's Lakers, and then the Miami Heat were also beat by LeBron James's Lakers. The cool thing about this season or this playoffs is that the Nuggets have pretty much done to the Lakers what they did to them in the 2020 bubble playoffs. So there you have another storyline. Okay, and I was really disappointed that year to see how Jimmy and the Miami Heat performed against the Lakers. So I'm happy to see, I guess, on the flip side, that they're back and able to kind of rewrite things a little bit, because in both situations, I thought the Nuggets underperformed, and I also thought Miami underperformed. So this is kind of cool to see them rewrite things and come back stronger. It's my opinion that the 2020 playoffs, in which both the Nuggets and Miami lost to the Lakers, I think it prepared them for this run they're on right now. Now, let's take a look at some of the individual matchups, if you will. The biggest one, obviously, is the Joker versus Jimmy Buckets. Where do you stand on that? Do you think that Jimmy Buckets will have a good game? I've been doing a little bit of listening, a little bit of watching and looking around the basketball hemisphere. And, the talk is Jimmy Buckets has not performed so well in the last 4 games. Okay. But my thing is this: if you win, you perform well. That's just my personal opinion. But however, on the flip side, we've seen Joker just go off and just snap and just do what he want to do. And a big question going into game 1 is, which will prevail, rest or rust, right? You got a team that's been sitting, just kind of watching the playoffs like everybody else, that being the Nuggets, because they made light work of the Lakers. But then again, on the flip side, you have the Miami Heat, who have been playing and going hard and giving their best. which will prevail? I mean, will the Miami Heat be, hot and ready to play, or will that actually tire them out and they'll be playing on weak legs? Whereas with the Nuggets, will that rest kind of come back and bite them, or will that be good for them and help them to revitalize themselves to, take care of business? Now, in terms of Jimmy Buckets and the Joker in their, individual playoff stats, right now, Jimmy is averaging 30 points, 7 rebounds, and 6 assists. That's very, very good for a player that many people just thought didn't bring it this season. This is evidence that these players, they definitely cruise during the regular season. And you see this a lot from veteran players. We even saw it from, no. Let me take that back. I was going to say LeBron James, but I think that this season he went kind of hard and he was trying to catch Kareem. That was the main reason for that. But we see this all the time from veteran basketball players. They kind of cruise during the regular season, and then when the playoffs comes, they turn into playoff Jimmy, for crying out loud. Now, on the flip side, Joker has averaged 30 points, 13 rebounds, and 10 assists. That's right, you heard me. He's averaged a triple-double. So that tells you that this guy is just playing on another level. And the big question I've been hearing around the hemisphere is Jokic the best player on the planet right now? Up until this season, I think a lot of people thought it was Giannis. And, this season, more than any season, has started to change the narrative, especially with Giannis injured and Joker playing the way he's playing right now. There's more talk about him having, kind of went on this run because he felt as if he should have been the MVP for the season. But we all know he lost it out to Embiid. So big questions here. Who's going to dominate? That's what this entire video is really about. Who's going to dominate? Will it be Jimmy Buckets or the Joker? Where do you stand on that? And, I'll throw my 2 cents in. First off, I think Jimmy Butler is so underrated and, so underappreciated. He plays both sides of the basketball very, very well. He doesn't settle for 3-point shots. He pretty much takes whatever the defense gives him and usually pretty much takes what he wants. I mean, for lack of a better analogy there, he takes whatever he wants, and that's what makes him so appealing to a lot of players, or people rather, and especially blue-collar people. They really like the scrappiness of Jimmy. I know because I've been hearing his name all throughout the, like I said, I've been hearing a lot of people chatter about this. But on the flip side, you have Joker, a player who just makes the game look so easy. And maybe he's also underappreciated. We saw that this year with the MVP race. He just wasn't appreciated. And then he went on and just went crazy. And he's like, hey, now you understand what I mean or what I bring to the table. So as far as I'm concerned, though I like Jimmy, I think this season is a wrap, man. I don't think any amount of help could help Jimmy right now. All right, even if Bam, what's his name? Adebayo, I forget his name, how to pronounce it, but I know his name is Bam. Even if Bam came in and just went nuts, man, I don't see a scenario where they're going to outscore Joker and Jamal Murray. I don't see a scenario where that happens. However, Bam could potentially cause some stir for Joker. I mean, if he plays the right amount of defense. I don't know if you remember, but in 2020, there was one player who gave Joker a lot of problems. Do you know who the name is? Do you know the person? I'm just giving you like a little quiz. I'm going to give you 5 seconds to figure out the answer. Who gave the Joker the fits in 2020, the 2020 playoffs? In 3, 2, it was Dwight Howard. A lot of people don't really know that. But a big reason why the Lakers were able to beat the Nuggets in 2020 was because Dwight Howard was just manhandling the Joker. He was just agitating him and just clapping in his face. And he was doing more than just playing basketball. He was just getting in his head. And it's a shame that the Lakers didn't have him around, because that guy would have been an X factor, because he just wasn't afraid of Joker for whatever reason. But anyway, I think Joker's going to just go off this season, this series. I don't see anybody who can stop this guy. If LeBron James and AD can't stop the Joker, I don't see anybody on Miami being able to do so. But here are my predictions, okay? My predictions are as follows. For game 1, I think the Nuggets are going to come out and just show off and show everybody that they're rested and that they are the better team. So I'm going to give game 1 to the Nuggets. Game 2, I think the Nuggets are going to follow up and slack these guys. So I'm going to give game 2 to the Nuggets. Game 3 will be in Miami. I believe that Miami is going to show up. I think that their fans is going to, rev those guys up. I also think going down 0-3 would not be possible for Jimmy Buckets. I think he's going to put on a Herculean effort to make sure that the Heat win Game 3. So I have them winning Game 3. For Game 4, I think the the adrenaline will have died down, and Jimmy Buckets and the Miami Heat will feel like we've pretty much staved off being swept. I don't think they could live with that, but I think reality will start to set back in. I think Nuggets will win Game 4. For Game 5, I think we're going to be in for a surprise because I believe that Jimmy Buckets and the Miami Heat will throw a nice haymaker towards the Nuggets on their home floor and pretty much surprise those guys. All right, and I got Miami winning game number 5. For Game 6, I believe that this is going to be in Miami. I think Nuggets will have figured it out. If we don't take this scrappy little team out, there's just no way that we're going to live this down. And I think if it does go to a Game 7, that means Miami has done a much better job than I predicted, and maybe even the rest of the world has predicted. And I think Miami would win if it went to a Game 6. But for me, I don't believe it does get that far. I do think that the Nuggets will win in 6. All right, so that is my prediction. Where do you stand on this series? What do you think is going to take place? Who are you rooting for? For me, I've heard a lot of people say this, but I'm rooting for Miami because that's the upset. However, I believe that the Nuggets are going to win, and I'm not upset with it. I really like the Nuggets this year. I've liked them for a while, but I could not trust them based on what I saw in the 2020 playoffs. When I saw them pretty much crumble against the Lakers, I said, okay, I can't put much faith in this team. And if I'm being honest, I felt the exact same way about Miami when they crumbled to the Lakers. So it's really great. Like I said, great to see both of these teams back in action. And that's my pick right there. Nuggets in 6. What do you think? Holla at your main man. What's up, Myron? All right, y'all. Peace.